Welcome back to another First Impressions video. Today we will be focusing on the MMORPG Revelation Online. Revelation Online has been a hot topic lately and was recently announced for the West. This game will go into closed beta fall of 2016 and will be published by my.com. Whether the game will be buy to play, free to play, or subscription based has not yet been announced. Before we get into this review, I want you guys to know that this review is based off of my first impressions after spending just a few days in the game. There are many things I have not yet experienced, and there is a lot that can change by the time this hits the NA and EU market. So what makes Revelation Online an MMO worth taking a look at? Well, it has a ton of features that we love about MMOs. It seems to me like the creators took inspiration from several other MMOs and put all of the best features into one game. An open world with no loading screens, 6 unique classes that give the player full control, allowing you to upgrade your skills in different ways and build your character up by even being in control of its base stats. Wings that allow the player to travel from place to place at a fast pace. If you are into that, mounts are available as well. Very in-depth character creation, no gender lock classes, the choice of using action combat or tab targeting, or even both. Different types of battlegrounds, castle sieges with no player cap, even 1,000 versus 1,000 players can take place. Skill-based combat with the addition of underwater and air combat, dungeons, raids, autopathing, and much more. Revelation has it all. Let's talk about the leveling and questing experience. From the beginning, you are given more skills than the usual 1 or 2. The story teaches you combat right away, and you'll notice it has a unique dialogue system displaying your character on the screen. Within about 20 minutes of gameplay, you'll already be given new gear, and you'll be introduced to NPCs that you'll see pretty frequently throughout your journey. You will also get a taste of how much they put into their story. Cutscenes after cutscene. This isn't a bad thing though. Usually I dislike cutscenes and want to skip them, but you become very involved in the story of Revelation. It's not something you can really skip. Even if you try not to care for it, you will experience these awesome instances where you might be watching flashbacks of some war that took place or taking down a huge ghost dragon, sometimes even playing the role of another character for a bit. This makes for a very unique experience and can even appeal to those who want to go the more single player route. Some of the cutscenes are even QuickTime events. I thought this was pretty cool. I have never experienced this in an MMO. Not saying that it doesn't exist. You can level all the way to max by just questing. Now you're either thinking, oh yay, no grinding mobs for hours, or isn't that the normal thing? But what I mean by this is following the storyline alone, you can pretty much hit max cap. You don't have to do a ton of side quests. Early leveling will be extremely fast. After a few hours, I was nearing level 30. Max level at the moment is either 79 or 80, but this could change when the game hits NA and EU. We might have ours capped a bit earlier, who knows. I usually get bored of questing and grinding to max cap, but not once did I get bored while questing in Revelation. I only got stuck a few times because of the fact that it's in Chinese right now. And I'm not trying to sound like a fanboy or someone who's just on the hype train, but the story and instances were just that interesting. And I promise you guys, I'm usually not into this kind of thing. As you level, you will gain points that you can use to upgrade your base stats. If you want more physical damage, magic damage, agility, or energy for health regen, go ahead, you decide how your character is built. If I wanted, I could play an intelligence-focused Lightblader. Wouldn't really make sense, but hell, I can do it. Some stats even contain hidden stats for other classes, like agility greatly benefits the gunner. You will also be given new gear here and there, and of course that's how MMOs usually work. Even small things matter though. The UI in this game is okay, but when you receive a new item that would better your character, you get this cool pop-up. Minor things like that makes the game more unique. Another thing I want to add to this section is about the player and mount movement. Flying is awesome and fast. Running is fast as well. Mounts, in my opinion, serve no purpose other than looks. I still haven't got to endgame, and maybe there are mounts with different speeds and skills, but so far I would rather fly everywhere than use my horse. Why use a horse when I have wings, am I right? Also, when you are making turns, your character leans, and same with your mount. It looks very odd. When running on water, I think it looks cool, but other times it's just a bit strange. Now let's talk about customization. You have your choice of 6 classes and there are no gender locks. I was surprised, but then again, this isn't a Korean MMO. When creating your character, you can choose from a few presets, and from there go very deep into customizing your character. From changing the pupil design of your eyes to facial hair transparency, sliders for days. I was very satisfied with this, and I think you guys will love it. I talked about character leveling and progression and how you can shape your character's build, so let's talk about armor, weapon, and costume design. The designs do remind me of Blade & Souls, but they have features other games don't, like accessories that allow you to smoke while AFK. The armor design is awesome. I haven't even seen the in-game armor, but from the story progression, gear, and weapons, I thought it all looked badass. I love the look of my greatsword. I opened up some type of costume shop, and man, these outfits are crazy looking. A game with unique armor designs, costumes, and not just a few, but a ton. Costumes that are unique to specific classes. They win when it comes to this. You can get a few accessories early on, your choice of a cute animal to sit on top of your head, and some dorky ass glasses. I didn't like the look of these, but it's just not my style. I'm sure there are a lot of cool looking accessories as well. One thing I recently discovered was that you can change your character appearance multiple times from the character selection menu. No appearance change certificate or money needed. What? I don't know if this will be a feature when it comes to the West, but like I said, it's as if this game took all the best features from other MMOs and put them in one. Now let's discuss the PvE side of things. This game has answered my prayers when it comes to PvE. It's not really hard to please me with PvE. All I ask is that we have a lot of mob variation. I want dungeons with actual mechanics that are a challenge. I also want the option to raid with large groups, and I love world bosses. Revelation has several 5-man dungeons, a raid dungeon, and even a bigger raid dungeon. I don't know the exact player cap, but maybe it's around 20 players or so. There are also PvE arenas. In one arena, I was put up against 11 waves of enemies. I say 11 because I died at 11 and it came to an end. I fought several bosses, and other rounds were just waves of mobs. Some rounds were treasure bandits, and I got extra loot depending on how many I killed in a certain amount of time. I even went up against a spirit shaper during this arena that stun-locked me with giant snakes and destroyed me with dolphins. I got turned into a goose, a duck, and a puppy a few times. Dungeons are pretty traditional. You need a healer, tank, and DPS, the Trinity. It's cool how the occultist is a hybrid that can heal as well. For main heals though, you want to roll with the summoner class, the spirit shaper. And honestly, this is the first time I would ever play a summoner class. I think it's one of the coolest classes I've ever seen in any MMO, but it's not my playstyle still. Now let's talk PvP. PvP is enabled at level 40. You can queue for battlegrounds, 10v10s, 20v20, 30v30, and there will be seasonal rankings. Open world PvP, and as I said earlier, territorial wars that can hold up to even 1,000 versus 1,000 players. As I got near the PvP level, my ping got really bad. I didn't want to queue for a battleground when my skills have a huge delay on them. Remember, I'm on the Chinese client, so I can't get into detail as far as PvP goes and tell you if it's balanced or not, but I can tell you that it will be a huge part of this game. Alliances will be formed, areas will be contested, weekly castle sieges will take place. It's going to be awesome. I plan to continue playing this game and pushing out content, so once I encounter open world PvP, get better ping, and turn my VP on if I have to, I will for sure put out some PvP content. On to the optimization and graphics. I am very impressed. The only complaints I have are getting frame drops when it comes to being in crowded areas, which is pretty normal in most MMOs when you walk into major cities. The frame rate seems to be capped at 60. Maybe there's a way to turn this off. Frame rate seems to be steady for me though. I usually run at a constant 40 to 60 FPS. Borderless windowed mode isn't actually borderless windowed. My friends have the same problem. Though I can mouse off the screen, clicking anywhere but the game will minimize it and mute the sound. Other than that, I have not crashed once. I have not experienced any bugs. I have only had skill delay, which is due to my connection to the Chinese servers. This is one of the best optimized games I've played recently. I just pray it can keep up with the large scale PvP and that the optimization will still be good when it comes to the West. The scenery is beautiful. I feel very immersed in this game, and I guess it's because of the massive open world and that there's no restrictions to where you can go or what you can do. The attack animations are cool, the dungeons and mobs are very well designed. Throughout my journey, I've came across some of the same enemies, but only in story quest. The game doesn't seem to reskin mobs. Different zones, different enemies, different dungeons, different mobs and bosses. I have seen familiar faces when doing PvE arenas and whatnot, but have yet to see reskin mobs. If this game makes every mob and boss unique, then damn, kudos to NetEase. Now let's talk combat. Every class seems to use 2 weapons. With Lightblader you can switch combat stances. Some skills swing your greatsword and others use your blades. So it's like a main hand and an offhand. This game is action based with some tab targeting skills. Different combat modes benefit different classes. Like healing, you would probably want tab targeting to lock onto your allies and click around more. I found using tab targeting with an action based class still felt like action combat. I just control the camera differently. This is a skill based game for the most part. You need to dodge and aim correctly to kill your enemies. Whether or not this game will be extremely gear dependent, I don't know. So for now, by the combat, it is definitely skill based. I came across a video where a level 60 occultist or necromancer went into some type of demon form. Now it showed a new skill set. The player was female but the demon looked male. What I get from this is that maybe each class will have a special winged form, and depending on the class it will have a certain look. So did they add some type of Devilian form in this game? How many cool features does this shit have? I don't know if I'm a fan of this Super Saiyan form thing. I mean, it's definitely a cool concept, but we have all these different builds, main hands and off hands, air combat that seems to come with a new skill set. So will this new form have yet another skill set we have to get used to? So here's my overall thoughts. I've had dreams of creating the perfect MMORPG, which probably will never happen unless I become extremely rich. What I would like to do is take every great feature that we love about different MMOs and put them into one. Work directly with the MMORPG community and try to make the game appeal to the masses. Of course this probably wouldn't happen. I mean, a game where nobody complains? Hell no. But Revelation Online pretty much does this. It feels like Ion, it feels like ArcAge, it feels like WoW, it feels like Blade and Soul. It may look like other games, but once you play it you will see it as its own game. From the beginning, I feel like you'll know whether or not you will love or hate it. You get thrown into the action and storyline pretty quickly, already getting caught in quick time events and picking up new gear. From the first 30 minutes or so, you'll be used to flying, combat, questing, and more. Not saying you can judge a game in the first few minutes, but you'll know what you're in for. And I loved it. I still love it. This game is amazing, and I'm so hyped that it's coming to the West. I'm even happy that it's with mod.com. So let's talk pros and cons. The combat is fantastic. The graphics are beautiful. The character customization is A1. Costumes and design are awesome. Optimization is great. The storyline is so good, even someone who's into single players will love it. The PvP looks and sounds to be very interesting from the concept. But here's the cons. I thought the storyline was really good, but the game still has a pretty generic questing system. Where's my borderless windowed mode? The movement of the mounts and running is a little weird. With running, it sometimes looks cool, but it's a bit strange. And that's about all the negative I could find with this game so far. Overall, from my first impressions experience, I will give this game a 9 out of 10. So I will continue to cover this game on the channel and bring you guys updates and more content. I am playing with a large English community. We have a Discord set up, and if you guys are looking to join, I will list the link in the description, as well as a guide to playing on the Chinese client and an account registration link. Let me know what you guys think about this game. Are you hyped for it, or does it look like another typical MMO? I'm ready for the fall, and I will catch you guys in the next video. See you soon, friends.